Okay, today we're going to be talking about OneNote 2013. OneNote allows you to organize information using a spiral notebook format. The main difference here is that this notebook is limitless in its pages and sections as well as the type of content that it can hold. And it's searchable from text to the text inside of pictures and audio files and video files stored inside the notebook. Let's go ahead and open it up and take a look. Now I'm inside SharePoint, and every team SharePoint comes with a OneNote notebook built in. Our Teams here has already got some information inside of it. This here is the web version. It comes with most of the features, but not all of them. Let's go ahead and open it up in the full version of OneNote. I just say allow, and here we are. So what I've got here is just a simple graph that I've started making as an example. And it just sort of demonstrates the size that each page can consume. You can stick to a simple text format that resembles Word, but keep in mind that if I simply scroll back, I can actually use a lot more of the page if I wish. But just as a quick example of the information we've already talked about, I can search for all of the text inside of this by just giving a quick search, and things are highlighted based on what I've typed. What you may not realize is that text inside of images is recognized by OneNote using OCR. You can see here that it starts to highlight it, and the same applies to any audio and video files or documents inside of a notebook. As you can see here, we've got this inserted, and we did that just by dragging and dropping. But you can also go here and see a full rendition of everything that can be inserted. You can insert a spreadsheet, and it'll either display or it'll just show a little icon right here referencing it. You can insert screen clippings from your computer, pictures, scan files. I can record audio and video directly in it. Or I can use math and incorporate an actual formula with an answer that is editable, much like it would be in, say, Excel, directly into OneNote. Pages are customizable inside of OneNote. If I go to View, I can actually change the way something looks. I can give it lines, or I can make it that friendly color yellow that we're all so familiar with from free notebooks at the office. Whatever I'm comfortable with. I can also make the view a full screen view. This is useful especially on tablets, or I can dock it to the side of the screen. This allows me to take notes while watching something else. And you can see here it's sort of minimized itself to be almost unrecognizable, but if I were to take a look up here, I can jump around, mostly by expanding back out and finding the page that I want. OneNote actually works across platforms. It is not confined to just the Windows environment. If I want, I can actually use OneNote in a mobile device, from an iPhone to an Android device, or a tablet. You can see here it handles handwriting just fine as long as you have a stylus that works with it. Drawing with a mouse is not that easy. It's a very rich text environment that lets you highlight, enter to-do lists, which you can see these checkboxes right here, or change the color of text all inside the notebook, or at least view the changes that were made from a computer inside the OneNote on your mobile device just the same. Now, as you can see here, OneNote works by using pages under sections. Each one of these would be a section, and then the pages are all just inside here. I can have multiple notebooks, and I can search all of those notebooks from this search box. So everything is joined together inside this program itself. But I can also organize by tags. Say if I have similar to-do lists throughout different projects or notebooks, I can actually make sure that information is easily categorized using tags right up here. I can just expand that if I want. Say I have several different critical items. I also have just a bunch of different books I want to read that are spread throughout different subjects. I can use this tag. Now that's nice in itself, the little icon, but where it comes in most handy is when you click Find Tags. And everything is brought out right here. You can jump right to it. You can also make your own customized tags right down here, choosing the icon, what it says, and so on. Some of these tags are interactive, particularly the to-do list. If you select that, it just gives you a little item here, letting you know that you've completed that task. If you want something a bit more formal, you can insert an Outlook task. and this will actually show up in Outlook. And if in Outlook I were to say this task was completed, I could check it off, and that would be reflected inside of the both Outlook and OneNote. Now, if you have versioning enabled inside of the library where OneNote is stored, you can actually get a history. And if I want to see what's been done to this notebook over the years, I can just select that, and I get a different date and all the changes and what it looked like at that time. I can actually restore those versions as well by going up here and selecting this. I'll be provided some options. I can also just see some recent edits, maybe today, and it'll highlight everything I want to make note of that's been changed in the last 24 hours. Or I can search by author, of course, and see who made what changes. When they make a change, I get an initial right here and when that change was made. Now, we briefly saw the drawing options available down in one of these, this page right here. This doesn't really do any justice to what it's capable of. You get almost a Visio-esque number of options available in OneNote when you use the drawing tab. And if you have a stylus, like I said, it looks much better. But even if you don't, you still have a lot of options here for different shapes. If I want to change the color, I can just select that ahead of time, choosing that, and drawing my shape. Using the arrows, I can join these two together in a sort of visual that helps explain whatever ideas I'm trying to convey. Now, the beauty of OneNote today is that since it exists on SharePoint, we can actually edit as a team. So if I want to do this with a member who doesn't actually have access to our notebook yet, which if they did, they could just go into the SharePoint and open it exactly like I did. But if they don't, I can add their name right here. It'll come up, and I can give them an option to view it or edit, include a little message, and so on. They'll be provided a link. They can go directly in here and provide their input. Now, if I don't want them to have access to the entire notebook, I'm not really in any luck as far as the share options are concerned, but what I can do is lock it down. Say I want to lock down our meeting notes, I just right-click that and choose Password Protect this section, and I set a password. That'll prevent anybody without that password from viewing that section, effectively encrypting it. And finally, if I have a notebook that I want to export or just a page or something, I can go up to File, Export, and I can choose to export the page section or the entire notebook. And I'm provided different file types for each one based on what's available. Word is obviously pretty flexible. Almost anybody can open that. PDF is an image format that is understandable by Adobe Reader or a number of other open source options. Or I can send it out as an entire section of the OneNote notebook that they can incorporate into their notebook using the OneNote format. Or I can just do a PDF and tell it to print it out. So all in all, OneNote is about organizing the information that you are actively working with. Some of this information will end up in Word or Excel documents, but for the time you may just need a simple, flexible area to assemble that information. With the various ways of storing and sorting information, it's almost too flexible for a lot of users who prefer a simple page format. But for those who want something more than a series of Word documents in which they store their notes, OneNote is definitely for you.